How you doing? You all right? You look stressed out. Everyone on the internet is so stressed out right now. But basically, there's just a lot going on in the world right now. People need a place to vent their emotions, and there's a lot going on in the games industry that people are stressed out about. People are really unhappy with. So I just want to take a moment to chill with all of you, and we can just hang out and talk about some cool stuff. We aren't going to talk about, the whole whatever's going on over there. I think we can all just take a couple chillaxatives and let it all flow out the back. Today I want to talk about some cool retro handheld devices like these bad boys right here. So I've been picking up a number of these devices, and I've been working on writing reviews and creating a detailed review format for them. The reason why I'm doing this, one, I think they're extremely cool, but two, they are an important part of the games industry. They are not part of the core AAA or indie space or anything like that, but when it comes to the hardware and the way that we as gamers experience gaming, these are extremely important, whether or not, the mainstream games industry want to acknowledge it culturally. These are extremely important, and you need to be able to understand how something like this affects the industry, how it affects how people experience a hobby. Now, I want to discuss these not because I want to make you buy things. Buying things, there's this weird materialistic push in culture that makes people think that they'll be happy if they buy things. This will fill that hole that you feel inside of you. This will make you happy. No, these things won't. Buying things won't make you happy. It won't give you a sense of purpose. It won't give you fulfillment or validation. What these are a distraction, but they are a fun distraction, and they are simply a tool for you to enjoy your hobby. These handheld devices are so great because they do not have recurring costs. You purchase the hardware, you can source the ROM files that you put on there in order to play games, you can source them yourselves, but in general they come with a ton, dozens of thousands of games on there for a bunch of different game platforms. For me personally, I really enjoy the arcade stuff, so I want to go over a couple of these devices, and I hope we can all just chill and relax. We can catch our breath, and let's just not worry about anything weird or stressful. Again, I don't want to make you feel like you should buy these. I just want to share these with you so that if you see something that fits your needs, you'll know what would be good value for money and what maybe you should avoid. I have a number of devices that I've been writing reviews for that are just not great. The reason being is that the hardware and software do not match the value that you are paying for them. They're more expensive than what they are worth, and at that price point you can get much better devices. Now, someone asked me about 2 weeks ago, and forgive me for not remembering your username, I see a lot of comments, but somebody asked me if I could recommend a handheld that plays Sega Saturn well and also has an analog stick. This is the Battle XP G350, and it plays Sega Saturn quite well. I did Nights into Dreams on that. So I'll just briefly go over I don't have a script, I'm not ad sponsored, I don't take ad sponsorships or anything like that. I'm just going to share a couple of these. This is the R36S. This is what people refer to as the king of handheld budgets, and that's because these are very affordable. They are some of the most affordable handhelds on the market, and they're powerful. They can play Dreamcast. They have great features, they're reliable, they're easy to use, the buttons are good, the screen is fantastic. These are IPS displays, OCA laminate. They have great viewing angles. I'm looking at it from here and I can still see the colors and everything very clearly. The webcam is not going to pick that up clearly because it's not set for this screen, so it looks washed out on the webcam, but in real life these really look fantastic. So again, this is the R36S. Now, a huge problem with this device is that there has been so many clones of this device because they're they've been just so successful and popular. So it's a bit dangerous to purchase these devices because there's a chance that you could end up with a clone that is fake. And what is bad about the fake clone is that it has weaker hardware inside and worse software. That means that the performance of the games will be worse and the software will not be as good. It's going to be clumsy and clunky. So it's a little bit dangerous to buy the R36, but if you see a listing that has this color, it's called Lake Blue, you'll know it's genuine because this is a new revision of the R36S. It has a new screen that is improved, and you'll know that it is a genuine version. If you see listings that have a different set of colors and they don't include this one, there's a very strong chance that that listing is going to sell you a fake that is just worse. So again, this is the R36S. It's great. This is just great value for money. Now, I'm going to mention the Battle XP G350. It's basically the same form factor, and it's very similar to the R36S, except it improves on basically everything. It's just slightly better in every single way. It's a couple dollars more expensive, but if you have a look at the shoulder buttons, it's just much more comfortable. The fact that it's sloped up like that, it's just easier to hold that comfortably. So these are so nice. They're really comfortable to hold, but some people will find that the vertical form factor is not that comfortable because sometimes you do have to interlace your fingers or hold like that. In that case, you may want to look for a horizontal form factor. And again, the webcam makes the screen look washed out, but the screen is gorgeous. It is just vibrant and rich. It's so pleasant to look at. The viewing angles are fantastic. This is called the R36H. This is extremely similar to the R36S. It's basically the same thing, except in horizontal format. And for many people, this is going to be more comfortable. It has rubber grips on the back so that it helps you just hold that comfortably without the console sliding around, slip sliding away. I just want to point something out. Something that these games don't tell you, it may not even be common knowledge, but when you are playing arcade games, all of these come with, again, thousands upon thousands of ROMs. Many of them are arcade games, and they're just so fun to explore. There's so many games I haven't heard of, and that's why I enjoy playing these. I'm working all throughout the day, and if I can take a few minutes to take a break, I'll use one of these devices. I'll just scroll through the list, and this is great for exploration. Just opening up a section, you know, say arcade games, PC Engine, and scroll through it, and you can discover games that you never knew existed. Play it for a few minutes to see if you like it. There are so many arcade games that you can discover. It's just so much fun. It's really fantastic. But when it comes to the arcade games, some things they don't tell you is the select button is to insert a coin into the machine. Obviously in the arcades, not all of us grew up with arcades. Not all of us are familiar with arcades. You have to insert a coin into the machine to play the arcade games. Press the select button. You can just spam that and keep adding coins. And then once you've got enough coins in there, you press the start button. All of the arcade games will function the exact same. They don't exactly tell you that. So in these devices, keep that in mind. You have infinite money cheat, basically, which is really cool. Now, this is the R36S. Oh, no, sorry, the R36 Max. They stick with the 36 number because of the branding. They're trying to copy the name of something that was successful. And it gets confusing, and it really muddies the water, and it confuses people. They end up buying something because they hear the number 36, and that's branding. That's just how it works. This is not one that I would really recommend because there's some problems with it. There's some annoying things about the software that I'm still really trying to figure out how to put into words. I just need to have a stronger understanding of all of these. But really, one of the biggest issues is that the hardware in this is underpowered. This is trying to compete with a device that has a 4-inch screen. The standard for a while was 3-inch screens. There are now devices with 4-inch screens, but these 4-inch screens, most of them are a 1:1 aspect ratio, so they're perfectly square, whereas these other screens are not perfectly square. It does affect games. For example, your Game Boy Advance games will look smaller because they're not able to stretch out a bit. So what's annoying about this is, well, among other things, the shoulder buttons are very hard to press. You need to hold the device a certain way. You can see there are these grips here, and you have to grip on for dear life, and you have to push really hard on the buttons, and it's super uncomfortable. And realistically, the only games that rely on those are going to be your PlayStation games. So maybe it's not going to be that big of a deal for you, but it is a little uncomfortable. Some of these have buttons that are pretty hard to press. These buttons are not that comfortable. There is a fidget spinner. You see this little soccer ball in the middle? Fidget spinner. You can push down on it. It is a button. It's fun. That looks like a little football pitch there. So, yeah. The colors are cool. I really like the color there. The screen is all right, but again, the problem is the hardware that they put in here is kind of weak. And the device that it was trying to compete with, which is a 1x1 4-inch screen, had a stronger processor, so the games don't run that well, and it struggles with certain platforms, like, for example, ColecoVision won't run. What's up with that? Things like Dreamcast don't run as well when they really should. At this price point, the price that you're paying, when you compare it to the other hardware in that price range, the other devices in that price range, those perform better at that price range. So it's difficult to recommend the R36 Max, but we all have different needs and expectations. We all use consoles in different ways. So for some people, this might be perfect because it is a nice big screen. Your Game Boy and Game Boy Color games will look fantastic on that. But sometimes a device just doesn't feel that comfortable to hold. One of the issues with the R36H is that the buttons are actually kind of hard to press. They require more resistance than other of these handhelds. So now I'm going to discuss the best one of the lot tonight. And this one's a little bit more expensive than the others. You know, the R36 is usually around like $30 or so. This one is usually around 60. It's between 60 and 70, thereabouts. But all of these, the screens are fantastic. But this one, the hardware is just excellent quality. It's very comfortable. You can fold the screen, put that into standby. But the software is refined. It's easy to use. The buttons are very comfortable. You can see you have your L2 and R2. You can do PlayStation, Dreamcast on this. But for me, my favorite part of these would be playing arcade games, discovering arcade games, just a little short gaming experience. And there's so much you can deep dive into this stuff. Now, the reason why I've decided to talk about this tonight is because I had a friend over tonight, and I let him try this last week, and he liked it so much, he asked me to order one for him. So I did order one for him. We were testing them out today, and I found out that you can connect these if they are on the same Wi-Fi network. These have Wi-Fi built in. You can connect them to the same Wi-Fi network, and you can do multiplayer games together across different systems. So, you know, your 8-bit, 16-bit games, even your 32-bit, your arcade games, you can connect them and play multiplayer games. So, you know, I have my console here and I'm playing, and then my friend has his console and he's playing, and we played a bit of Knights of the Round on, you know, and it was just such a cool experience. I wasn't expecting that out of these devices, and it was fun. And I'm hoping that other people get a chance to experience that, to just hang out with friends, and you know, you've got your gaming device, your friend has theirs, but if there's a game that you can play together, you know, it's fun. Of course you can boot up the original hardware, but you have access to just thousands upon thousands and thousands of games. So that's why I want to recommend this stuff. Is there's nothing stressful about these devices. Right now, everything in the games industry is so volatile. And every single talking point about anything, you'll see people that just want to turn it into ammunition for some sort of war that doesn't even need to exist. There's no point in it, and it's a bummer. It's a bummer that people are so stressed out. I wish there was a way to help people not be stressed out. And this is the only way that I can think, is to recommend these devices. I mean, if you're stressed out, grab one of these devices and chill and just play some games for a while, you know? It's fun. They include a bunch of stuff, and they're all old games that you can't even go out and buy these anyway, so they're really cool. There is something extremely, extremely important to keep in mind with these devices. When you get one of these devices, get a new SD card of decent quality. Don't get a no-name brand thing. Take the SD card out of these and clone it. Make a clone of that and then put it on a different SD card. The SD cards that they use in these devices are very low quality and cheap, and they will fail. You see it all the time. If you look in reviews and comment sections, they'll say after a week or two, the SD card just corrupted itself and it stopped working. That's how they're able to sell these devices for so cheap, is they package it in with a really low quality SD card. So when you get these, clone the SD card and then put it on a new SD card of decent quality, you know, SanDisk or whatever. And that will ensure that that other SD card, you know, will be all right, but these won't. And if the SD card goes corrupt, then a lot of them won't even be able to boot up anymore. So make sure you clone the SD card. As long as you do that, it'll be all right. A number of these can connect to a TV as well. Some of them use, you know, your crappy RCA cables, but some of them use HDMI. This one is the Anbernic RG35XX SP, say that 10 times fast. Again, Anbernic RG35XX SP. This does have HDMI out, and it has overlays on the screen, and it'll put borders, and it just looks, it's such a refined experience. It's easy to use. It does not take any tinkering. It's robust. You know, if you have that opportunity, if you can just sit outside, enjoy, you know, chilling in the shade and just feeling the breeze, you know, let your hair down, do some gaming for a couple hours in just a relaxing, chill way. These are the most chill way that I can think of to discuss gaming and to enjoy gaming, because there's no stress attached to them. They're just easy. They're easy, baby. So there's a bunch of colors, right? All of these models come in different colors. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for the clear blue stuff. They call this one Lake Blue. Totally rad. I'm a big fan of this one. So I'm already drawn to that one just because of the color. Now, I know a lot of you don't like the color pink. I think it's rad as hell. But there are other colors for this guy as well. Again, this is the Battle XP G350. This one's excellent. Also has a rumble motor. Not necessary, but it's pretty cool. You obviously, of course, can go source your own ROMs off the internet, put them on here, and then you can enjoy whatever. Now, what's great about these is that there are homebrew communities for a number of different platforms, and that's so great. So you can go and download games, especially the Game Boy Color community, because of GB Studio. People are making tons of new Game Boy Color games that you can download and play and enjoy, and it's just a chill, easy way to spend a little bit of time. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at those. My strongest recommendation, if you are on a budget where you really just need to focus your budget on other things, something like this is usually around $35 to $40, the Battle XP G350. It's very good, but you'll often find the R36S for around $30. It's basically the very best device you can get with the very best value for money. Again, if you do want this, try and look for this newer model. This one, I think I paid $35 for it. Look for listings that have this color, because this is the newer color. It will ensure that you have the correct one, that isn't the fake clone. You can pick a different color, but make sure this one's in the listing, or you're at risk of getting a fake one that's not as good. If your budget allows for around $60 to $70, this feels like a premium device at such a competitive price. It's a great user experience. It feels robust and reliable. It plugs into the TV. You can hook up USB controllers. It also has Bluetooth. Again, this is the Anbernic RG35XX SP. Goodness howdy, that name. So anyway, I hope you thought these were interesting to take a look at. I'll give you one last look. Here's the R36 Max. It may be good for some people. It's got a nice screen, it's decent, but the shoulder buttons, you know, not that cool. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out and spending some time with me. I hope you had fun taking a look at these. Take care, everyone. Be well. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you.